Hey everyone, I am back. We just got back from watching Avengers Infinity War. There was a lot to take in from this movie, and I don't know how I'm going to fit it into a short review, but I'm going to do my best. It was a 2.5 hour movie, lots happening, but I'm definitely going to do my very best. So there's my ticket stuff for those of you watching the video review. So I took my wife, and she's a huge fan of the Avengers movies, any of the superhero, especially Marvel type movies. She really, really enjoys, and came out of this one with a lot of different views, but all in very good ways. So let's just start off with the story, how we normally do. So the story for this is pretty basic if you think of it as a normal superhero movie. There's always some villain trying to take something to become the almighty, right? We all know that that's the premises, and that's what we like. It's very simple, especially being a superhero fan, you like that. What makes this a bit more complicated is the villain, and this star is Thanos. Now, we're probably thinking, well, we've had villains like this in the past, but what's key about Thanos is Thanos has been mentioned and or a key part of the Avengers since the very first Avengers movie. And even in some of the side movies, in particular to the Guardians of the Galaxy, there have been a lot of throwbacks to Thanos and the gauntlet and the glove that he wears that he had made. And also, of course, the Infinity Stones, which are a huge part of the Marvel movies, especially Avengers-based Marvel movies. This character, Thanos, is perhaps the most complicated of all the villains that Marvel has done yet. And that's a good thing. It may not be a good thing to some newcomers of the series or perhaps younger audiences, but for me in particular, I really loved the villain. It was perhaps the strongest, both emotionally and physically, of a villain that we have ever seen. And that made a huge presence, especially with all the action that was going on. So Thanos' plan is to use this gauntlet to host the power of all 6 of the Infinity Stones. And how is he going to do that? Well, he has this group called the Children of Thanos. And, they're a small kind of, like sidekick type group, but they all have their own unique abilities that may even mimic some of that of the Avengers. They're pretty cool as far as side characters go. We don't really get introduced too much, and some of the characters show a little more presence, meaning they have a little bit more lines and screen time than others, which was okay for me. The story as a whole, as far as the Avengers goes, was very well done, which I have to say I was very worried because usually when movies have so many characters and so many actors on screen, it doesn't really work. It never really has. But I was a huge fan of the Captain America movie, Civil War, and it was almost an Avengers movie in itself, right? And this movie is identical to that. However, it has 10 times more action, plot, and just outright ridiculousness, especially when it comes to the end. So I thought with the pieces that they put together, were done very, very well. Now, I have to say, as far as acting goes, it was very hard to portray because there wasn't precisely one in particular character, hero, or actor that got more than any of the others. Obviously, the main from the original Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, those that were in there, Hulk, Thor, they're always going to be in there. And they're always going to have their most dominant moments. And each one did in their own fantastic way, which was great. They all had a key moment and point in time. However, I also felt that because of that, it was so well balanced that you were trying to figure out, well, where is everyone and how is this all coming together? Which is where I felt like the story fell short a little bit as far as what was everyone's goals and how are they going to get there. Because especially towards the beginning and middle of the film, it's almost like it just throws it at you. They knew the film was long, so they just said, you know what, let's just go ahead and just start it. So you are ready at the very beginning of the film trying to catch up. But the acting was very well done. And I have to say that the Guardians of the Galaxy characters were an amazing fit with the Avengers. And I ultimately feel the Guardians of the Galaxy characters thrived in this film tremendously. They really vamped up the other characters, the normal Avengers that we have seen, and gave the movie another type of a flair, as you would say, another level of richness. And I really loved it because I'm a huge fan of the Guardians of the Galaxies. And to have them on screen with the Avengers for the first time, it meshed so damn well that you almost felt like it was meant to be. So that was great. And it was happy to see all the characters combined. But I have to say the Guardians were definitely my favorite part, both in acting and character-wise as far as heroes throughout the entire film. Going into the soundtrack was absolutely amazing. This movie is action from beginning to end. And even the parts where they slow down a bit for storytelling, it's still in that genre where you are so engulfed in what Thanos or the Avengers or the Guardians are saying that you're not even really thinking, well, this is a slow part in the movie. So it's actually very well paced and very well done. And the music score is just action on top of action on top of action. And I'm going to go ahead and play you a piece now, as I always do. So I hope that you enjoy. So it's really good, super epic. If you've watched the trailers, that is definitely one of the ones in the trailers. I know Audio Machine has worked on some of the music, which I'm a huge fan of their orchestra and soundtrack work. So overall, the presence and volume of the sound in this movie is absolutely spectacular. And again, I saw this movie in the incredible Dolby Cinema at AMC, and that is just a theater to watch these types of movies in because the sound is spot on. So overall, with all the craziness and epicness and everything that goes through, I feel if you're a true Marvel superhero fan, this movie is a lot to take in, but damn, if you can grasp it, it is the best superhero movie I have watched in a long time. In a very, very long time. So I feel like if you are a fan of the Captain America Civil War movie, this is right up your alley and there. If you're looking for more of a story type based and more of a slower pace, maybe like some of the, Iron Man films or, maybe even some of the other films that have passed by to have a bit more talking and story, you may fall back a little bit on this, but it definitely doesn't hold back, and not by any means does it make it a bad movie. This is without a doubt the best Avengers movie, and I am just so looking forward to the continuation of Thanos' story, the Avengers, and how it all comes through. If you are someone who cannot take a bold new taste, this movie is not for you. But for fans who absolutely love action and want to see their favorite superheroes on screen kicking ass and doing work and show a very true emotional side, this movie is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It definitely met up to the hype, and I was super excited that it did, because a 2.5 hour movie with all this going on, I was really feeling may have gone over a little bit on their heads, but what a fantastic movie. So thank you all so much again for watching. I was super, super happy to finally go see this movie and see in the theater, and the fact that my wife really enjoyed it as well was awesome. So if you don't want to hear my geek out moment and hear my favorite part of the movie, you can go ahead and end it here. But please, again, send me a like. If you really like the channel, subscribe to my YouTube. This is also going to be a podcast version if you guys just want to listen to it on the Acre app and also on iTunes. Also, for those who are more interested in a video game and anime and movie type of sense, I'm starting a brand new podcast. It's called Geek Out. And some of you may have heard it before, but I revamped it. I have a new co-host, and we have a lot of great material. And that first episode, it's a podcast only. So the first episode is going to premiere on iTunes and on the Anchor app tomorrow night. So tune into that and let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great week. So now that I was able to hold all that back, because there is just so much that happened in this movie, it was very hard for me to find a scene that was my favorite. As I had mentioned in the preview or the review previously, I loved the Guardians of the Galaxy. They were an amazing fit in this movie, and I just cannot wait for more. My favorite scene is definitely when they're on the planet Titan, and it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Mantis, Star-Lord, and I think that's it. And really, all of them are working together to take down Thanos. And it's just so cool to see all the different combinations of, Tony Stark's Iron Man suit and Doctor Strange's, crazy whips and magic, and Spider-Man's webbings all over Thanos, and really trying to hold him down so that way they could try to take off the gauntlet. And it was just an amazing scene to see, because we saw something similar to this in Age of Ultron, and then also in the first Avengers movie, where they all got together and had this kind of collaboration scene. And this to me was just very fitting and just felt so right for this. And it was just an epic moment. And I just absolutely loved Spider-Man in this film. He had the most badass suit, and I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he's amazing. And the character just fits so well in the fight scenes. It was just truly amazing to see on film. So thank you again, guys. I really appreciate the views and the listens on my podcast. Please, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and on my YouTube page, and check out my Facebook page. I really do appreciate it. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. And the Avengers movie has finally been here. Go check it out. Tomorrow on my podcast, we are doing a giveaway. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Check that out. Take care.